Okay. Hey y'all. Obviously, hi everyone. I'm Eli, and we have joining me Tessie, my sister, who you kind of know the story if you listen to us. Um but we started out doing theater in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania at the Pittsburgh CLO, and we met two lifelong friends there. One is literally the reason we started doing theater, and shout out to both of them, Joe Serafini and Trent Soyster, who just recently collaborated together on a music video of Joe Serafini's new single, That Special. And joining us today, we have the writer and I don't know, musician of That Special, or vocalist, Joe Serafini, and director and choreographer Trent Soyster.
Hey.
Hey, y'all.
Oh my God. Look at this. You have fans. Go Joe,
Yes.
go Trent.
Oh,
Period.
yes.
Shout out. Go both of them. Period.
Yes.
So, oh my God, Seblos love all the way. The High School Musical fandom goes strong, Joe.
Yeah.
We love. That's awesome. Oh, and we have a little love for Trent. Hey, Trent.
Hey.
So, talk to me, because I saw a little post on, I think it was Joe's Instagram the other day, of kind of like how this whole thing started as like a little text message. So why don't you, for those of you, the people listening who don't know, talk about how this music video came to be and your collaboration during this process.
Do you want to speak on it?
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, so I put out this song in January. It's my debut single as like my own artist.
Yes.
Thank you.
And
Trent had listened to it and I guess, really was inspired to move. So he texted me and was like, I think I'm going to like do a combo to it, because he does these pop-up dance classes in New York City where people can come dance and learn a combo. And I was like, okay, like great. And we also did, as a part of that, part of like the fun aspect of it was that I was going to come and play and sing it live, so that there was like live music to dance to in the class, just to create a new like element
vibe.
To the dance class. And that was really fun. And then I was like, oh, that was fun. And then Trent and his dear friend Maddie were both like at the end of the class, no, wait, like we should actually make a music video. And I was like, okay, kind of like didn't believe them. And then they followed up, and I was like, okay, well, if you're serious about it, like we can do it. And we made it happen. And Trent did such a beautiful job. I'm like so happy with how it turned out. It's so beautiful.
It's stunning.
And we put it out yesterday officially, and it's great.
Yeah, it happened. It was one of those things that like I was like fully just like dancing around in my apartment to it, and I was like, wait, there's like something here. Like there's something to this. And so then I texted Joe and I was like, hey, January pop-up class, like I'm gonna do it. Or maybe it was February, I forget. But I was like, one of them, I'm gonna do it. Will you come and play live? And like I remember specifically there was like the first time we did it with you, because you like came in later in the class as like an exciting, like halfway through, Joe will come and play live. And I remember like doing it with you for the first time, and then everyone just being a little like, whoa, like I think there's something here. Like there's something beyond just like this class. Like, and I could sense that energy in the room. And so my dear friend and my associate choreographer on this video, That Special music video. My dear friend and associate choreographer for the video, Maddie, was like, no, we should actually do something. And it snowballed and it became a thing. And I'm thrilled. And your song is stunning. And it's just like it was such a fun collaboration between a lot of hometown friends, a lot of Joe's college friends, a lot of my New York friends, a lot of like overlapping social circles, which was, for me, was the most exciting part.
Yeah, we got to like bring all our favorite people together and like make something. It was really fun.
It's amazing. Bawling
I'm-
cries out
Yeah.
right now.
I told you I was going to. I'm a Cancer.
Sobbing.
Backstory about Tessie is Tessie and I met like as children
Yeah.
backstage at the
Yeah.
like doing a show together, and then
Chitty chitty bang bang.
chitty chitty bang bang, you got it.
Period.
And we were mini stars together, which was like this performance troupe in Pittsburgh, and Trent too. So we all
Yeah.
Maria Sharir, sorry.
Together.
Yes.
Tessie's got quite a voice, you guys.
Yeah, Tessie sings out, honey. Tessie has a voice.
So did this one's doing a Newsies choreo we got going in Michigan right now, and Joe just put out the song of the summer,
Yes.
tied with My Days, Joy Woods.
Yeah, facts.
Very true.
I could never.
No, but no, it's so true. So not only do you have that special, but you also have another single that recently came out, Take It Slow.
Yeah.
So do we think that there's a music video number 2, perhaps after Grand Rapids comes home?
Oh God.
I'm like,
Or not Grand Rapids, but
heart rate.
Michigan.
My heart rate is just like, we just finished this one, but honestly though, like, Take It
The
Slow
people
is
want
stunning
more.
too. That came out when? April?
Yeah.
April. And actually what's funny about that is that like we were having our rehearsal process we filmed that special like 2 months ago. So we filmed it in April, and I remember we were like having our rehearsals, and we both were like, well, let's like not step on like Take It Slow because that's coming out around then. And we were like, oh, June feels right. It's like it's Pride, and it's like 6 months of that special, and just like it just felt like the right time to do it. So we've been sitting on this for like 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and
It's
happy
perfect.
Pride, by the way.
Yeah.
Happy
Yeah, hey, happy
Pride.
Pride, everyone.
June.
I love it. It's so good.
Best time of the year.
Really. So talk to us. So obviously, like I mentioned, we all met doing PCLO. I believe me, Joe, Trent, and we're all in A Christmas Carol together, right? That was the same
Not
year?
me.
Or was
Well,
it
I
just me?
think the gag of all of this is that Eli took over for Joe as Tiny Tim.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then I took over for Joe in my
Turkey
Cratchit
Boy.
Child
Yes.
track. So we all did the show. I don't know. For me, like Christmas Carol was sort of a rite of passage at CLO. Like it was sort of like it was a rotating door of like child actors like making
Yeah.
their start in Pittsburgh.
That's so
And wait,
real.
also let's talk about the fact that I was a Joe Serafini fan before actually anyone else. Like for real. Like we can go back and find the like me posting on Joe's Facebook I almost said Facebook story.
You're lying.
Facebook wall after seeing Oliver and being like, hello, I would like to be at CLO with you. Like, okay, so
Oh
all
my
these
God.
fans, like OG, just saying.
It's true.
Period. We
Yeah.
love that.
We love
Wait,
that.
so you weren't in Oliver with like the Patrick Page and
No, I was like gagged by it. I was obsessed. And then
What?
the next fall I came to CLO. Yeah.
And that was the infamous Joe Serafini, Kristen Serafini
Yeah.
little duo that we had going on.
Yes, that was really probably my peak, honestly.
Yes. Period. It was I was obsessed. The only show Tessie and I will probably ever do together, which is so sad, but that was a blast to do it with the three of you.
What me and Kristen did together too. So
Is it really?
I think so.
Oh my God.
I mean,
Shout out Kristen, by the
really
way.
cute.
We love.
Yeah, shout out to Kristen.
How's she
thriving
doing?
now.
She's good. She's in LA.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I follow her on Instagram and I love seeing her updates.
Aw,
Yes.
So cute.
sweet.
Miss her.
It is
Right.
crazy. I feel like the Pittsburgh like theater community was very like tight knit. Like I feel like growing up and doing theater like in Pittsburgh, like half the people in our video are like Pittsburgh raised actors that now live in New York, which is like it was a hometown like dance fest for sure. It was so fun.
So
I love it.
Yeah.
So obviously mini stars, the three of you were mini stars together with Maria, who we mentioned earlier, also in the music video.
yes.
And for those listening, what are the mini stars in the PCLO? I mean, that's when you made it in Pittsburgh. I mean, let's be real.
Well, sadly, they no longer exist.
They don't
I
exist
know.
anymore.
But
So sad.
Rip.
to put it the most simplest of terms, it's a performance troupe. So
Yeah.
they are a group of teens, I'll say, and we do Christmas shows where they travel to like retirement homes and all kinds of events to do a 30-minute Christmas show. And then in the summertime, they do, or we did, basically like promoting Pittsburgh CLO's summer season. So CLO was the summer stock theater, and we would sing songs from the shows that they're doing in that summer.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
It was
like
iconic.
looking back, it was like so hilarious. Like I would be like in a like concrete parking lot singing Sunset Boulevard for like 20 people, and everyone would be like gooped and gagged for it, and we'd be like, come see Sunset Boulevard, July, blah 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 to blah blah blah. But like so fun and like such a highlight of my growing up, and honestly like such a highlight of truly like my training, low key. I think it like prepped me for like so much of my like life, which is nuts.
I was gonna say, I feel like that was our training ground of like just figuring out how to just like make a show and take it anywhere and put it up, no matter your limitations of space or size, you know, like because we would like restage numbers based
like
on
backstage, yeah,
or who was gonna do what, or like we were learning a lot of valuable skills through doing
totally. Yeah.
And it would even like the ones that like don't necessarily come from just like when you go to college, right? It's like, oh, you train your voice, you change you train your acting skills and whatnot. You learn all these different techniques, but that kind of like shaped you to like give you real experience of the industry of like, hey, this is literally last minute changes and you're gonna have to figure it out
Make
some way.
it happen, baby. Yeah.
And those are some of the most valuable like things that I feel like are missing from a lot of these programs that like have these conservatories or sort of things where it's like they prep you for the onstage stuff but not the behind the scenes, you know.
Totally.
I love that. Wow, thanks for sharing that. So obviously you guys met, well, I guess Pittsburgh born and raised, and now we're all doing our own thing. Trent, talk to me about what you're currently doing. Obviously you're in Michigan and you're a little choreographer, director, you do it all. I mean, so what's going on right now?
Yeah, so I'm in Michigan right now. I'm directing, choreographing a production of Newsies, which is very exciting. Yeah, it's crazy. And I finished staging the show today, which is so exciting. I got home and I was like, it's like such a, I don't know, I feel like the last day of putting up like new material for the actors, it's like very like sentimental for the creatives, because it's sort of like, oh, like this is their baby now, like they get to run with it and they get to do it, and like my job is certainly not over because there's like edits and tweaks and little things that will change and shift, but like the big like the huge like weight of like the show is like out there in the world, which is exciting. Yeah,
it's so interesting you say that, because earlier this week we had Mark Bruni on this little live thing that we're doing, and he's the director of Great Gatsby right now.
Yeah.
And we were talking about how a director's closing night is opening night almost.
Yeah.
So what has that kind of been like for you? Obviously you are a performer, but now you're doing the directing and choreographing and all that. So like your run is completely different from like an actor's run. So how long have you kind of been working with the script and trying to like map all of this madness out?
Yeah. So I think like I am an actor still, and I feel like I it's like so important for me to keep saying to myself that like I can do both at the same time. Like I can be an actor and I can also be a director choreographer, and like those things can run parallel to each other. And when one thing is really fruitful, the other might like fall away a little bit, but it doesn't mean that it's not equally as important. And so like this summer is like has been really fruitful in that like I have 3 shows back to back. After this, I'm doing Jersey Boys up at New London Barn Playhouse. And then after that, I'm doing Jekyll and Hyde out at Timberlake Playhouse, which is like 90 minutes outside of Chicago. So it's like a busy dancing boy summer, which is exciting. But it's so different. Like I open Newsies on like the 26th, and I start New London's Jersey Boys the 28th. So Newsies will be running while I'm then in rehearsals for New London Barn, and then the same will happen with Timberlake. And actually, crazy enough, I also directed the theme park for a theme park this year, the entertainment for a theme park. So that is running too. So it's interesting that like little pockets of the country have my like choreography happening every night, which is so crazy and so nuts to think about.
Major.
But yeah, so grateful. I'm so grateful that this summer has been like very fruitful in a creative way. So yeah, that's what's up.
So how often, like, how do you juggle that? Like, do you go visit like these random parts of the world, seeing your different pieces of choreography, or is it kind of like, okay, you've already passed the baton and it's just let's focus on the next?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. Like when Newsies opens, I'll pass the baton. But
Okay.
then I'm actually going to be back up in New England, which is where the park is. So I'm going to do a creative check-in on 4th of July and just go spend the day at the park and be able to like see the shows and notes and just kind of like check back in creatively while I'm in rehearsals for Jersey Boys. And then yeah, Jersey Boys will open and I'll just kind of let her run and then on to the next. So
do they know that you're gonna come back and see
they
it?
do. Yeah, they know.
Okay.
Yeah. They were like that. Well, yeah. I was like, should I like surprise them? And I was like, no. Like, especially when I was on tour, like I always liked knowing when like the resident director was coming out to check in, or like the associates, or like if Jerry Mitchell was coming, I was like, I liked to know, even though sometimes Jerry didn't like to know that we knew or didn't like us to know. I was like, please tell me when Jerry's there. But full out always. # Jerry Mitchell.
Full out always. Where did that stem from? I see that all the time on his like
it's
social
just full
media.
out. It's just #
Yeah,
full out. When
that's
you
just
work
his
with
thing.
Jerry, it's # full out. Yeah, full out all the time. Like no time to waste. Let's full out all the time. I feel like I've actually brought that into a little bit of my processes as well, of just like, let's like be full out all the time in our lives and in the rehearsal space, you know?
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
No,
So
no
that's
days
what's
off.
no # no days
Not
off.
even Mondays. Not even
No
Mondays.
Mondays. My days off here are Sundays, which has been so weird.
What?
Yeah, so
Is that
odd.
like a run thing too, or is it just during the rehearsal process?
Just during the rehearsal process. I don't know.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But that's what's up.
Weird.
Hanging,
Slay.
choreographing, being all creative for the summer.
Oh my
I have
God.
a question for
Yes,
Trent.
good. Let's go.
Yeah.
What's like your dream show to choreograph?
Ooh, okay. This is really good. So like to direct and choreograph, I want to do a Little Shop. I love the show. I've wanted to play Seymour forever. I hope I will one day, but I think I want to like do my version of Little Shop.
So Andrew's replacement, perhaps?
I was just gonna
Right.
say
I'm
that.
like,
Miss Sarah Hyland.
let me think more. Let me circle back because I want to come up with a better one that like
No,
is
that's
really
a hard
dancey.
question. So
Let me circle
yeah.
back.
That is
Yeah.
hard.
And was that
Jo-
your first time directing? And sorry, I'm taking over for
No,
like 2
go.
seconds.
I
No,
love
Was that
it.
your first time directing, like in Joe's music video? Was that your first time directing ever, or how did that happen?
So the gag of all of this is I started college as a directing major, which is
What?
crazy.
Come
Yeah.
on, setters.
So, yeah,
Go
go setters. Eli and I went to Pace. Eli goes to Pace. Go setters. I started in 2016 as a directing major, and like halfway, I won't go through my whole college experience, but halfway through sophomore year, I decided to transfer into the musical theater department. And yeah, basically no, I guess is the answer. Like I also choreographed some community theater growing up, like, and actually Joe is an OG too, because Joe like came to see, I think like all the shows I choreographed, like
Support.
Aladdin Jr., Honk Jr., like
Oh yeah.
yeah, those ducks. Yeah.
That's so cool.
But yeah, so no, it's not my first time directing. But this
it
is
your
my first
first
time
time?
directing Newsies, and that was my first time doing any film stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
Wow.
cool.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Bonkers.
I love the
Was it weird doing the directing and choreograph like at the same time, or is it kind of bleed into one another eventually?
I actually found that, like, with the video, more than, like, with a stage production, it's I don't know, because with a stage production, it feels like it never lets up. Like, as soon as the scene is over, it's like I don't sit down, like, I just, like, start to teach the steps, and then once the
Right.
steps are taught, then I'm like, "Oh, now let's talk about intention, and also that furniture needs to come off stage left wing too." And also, do you know what I mean? Like, there's
Totally.
no let up, where I actually felt like with the music video, I also think, like, I had an amazing associate director and choreographer, Maddie Rodrigue, who was, like, really, like, honed in on what the dancers were doing. So Joe and I could talk like his traffic or like, camera blocking and what the camera was going to catch. So I think
Mhm.
Yeah.
I was better able to like really wear the director hat. Um, because I had such like a strong team with me. So shout
I
out to
love that.
Maddie and everyone that I had with me. Yeah.
Well, that leads to my next question with Joe, where obviously Trent, you probably trust him with your whole life, whatever. Was it terrifying to like give your baby and your song to like him?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I would say, like, I think part of the reason I didn't believe them was because I was like, I don't know if I want anyone to touch it. Like, I was like, maybe it should just live where it lives, you know? But
Yeah.
then I saw how passionate that both him and Maddie were about it. And I was like, you know what? Like, I know that if all of our intentions are like really good about this, which of course they are, that like
Yeah.
it will be beautiful. And especially if we get the right people involved and just, I don't know, I just believed that they would do a great job. And I also just like very much believe that anything Trent does, like he's like really gonna put his full heart behind it, like 100%. Very hashtag full out.
Full out.
He has been that
on,
way
Jerry.
literally since I met him. So I feel like I just knew he would not do a bad job. You know?
I love
Hey,
it.
thanks.
Well, let's show a little sneak peek for the folks that are
gosh.
watching and perhaps haven't seen it yet. We're just gonna
Yeah.
show a short little clip, and then obviously you're gonna be hooked, so you're gonna go check out the rest and get those
Yes.
YouTube views up.
First place, first prize, first time I let them talk. To everyone who told me that I'm not. What if I am that special? What if I am, I am? What if I sing so loud now that it echoes off the edge? What if I am that special? What if I give a damn? I know you're trying to tell me I'm too much, and what if I am? How can I wish on stars that don't make you feel small? I know my feet won't touch the ground until I'm falling in love with the new me. I think you would do if you knew me. Instead we put me through hell. I keep asking myself.
Holy
Aw.
moly! Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Okay, so
Wait,
two things.
wait. I have okay. Eli tasked me with the hardest thing I've done in a little bit. He goes, "Can you pull your favorite part?" And I go, "Oh." Can I just put the whole video in?
I know it was the full video. Basically,
it
I was like,
basically
I'm
was
gonna
the
get in trouble. I gotta end it here. I thought it was a good moment to end it. Sorry.
Yeah.
But it was the perfect part. The bridge. Hello, are you kidding? Secondly, not a big deal that we have Broadway star Nina White in this.
Yes.
Are you kidding me? Okay. Kimberly Akimbo, who
Right.
we love. So
We do.
it was a whole.
She had a show that day too.
Yeah.
She came in. We did that in the morning, the afternoon, I guess.
What a
We
star.
went in the morning into the afternoon, and then she went and did the show at night.
She
Yeah,
is, "I'm
crazy.
sorry, guys. I have to go do my Broadway show."
Mhm.
We were like, yeah,
Just-
no worries. Nina can go.
Are you kidding me? I love that. No, it's so good. So obviously, as I'm watching this, I'm able to see the four of you, and it's so fun to see what each of you are doing. Trent's over here, head bopping, low key doing the choreography. With
Yeah.
it. I was like, come on, it's ingrained.
It is.
I love it. So, Joe, for you, I mean, it seems like you were enjoying it, but I'm curious to ask, do you like to watch yourself? Because like some actors, that's not it.
No, I don't. I get
Yeah.
very, very hypercritical for sure.
Mm.
But this, like actually this video, I remember when we first were getting like edits back, and Trent texted me and he was like, "How many times have you watched it?" And I was like, "Oh, literally only like once or twice because I couldn't
Yeah.
bear to like watch it anymore." And he was like, "Oh, okay. I've watched it a
Oh
billion
my God. I was literally like, I was like, oh, it's over. Restart.
Right.
Restart. Well, and we were also in the like editing phase where I was like sending back like a couple notes of tweaks. And then like there was a section at the end specifically where Joe like there was like this thing where everyone like rushes at the camera doing this like swipe step. And I wanted 3 rounds of that. And I finally was talked out of it by Maddie and Joe because they were like, one does the trick. Like, but I like had this idea in my head of like, Greatest Showman when they just like all charge the camera.
Period.
And I think we like captured the idea and the vibe of
Totally.
that. But yeah, that was in the editing phase, and I was watching it literally like on repeat. I finally was like, Joe, how many times you watched it? And you were like, twice.
No.
I was like, oh.
I got it.
But honestly, I will say, like, once we like put it out and like it didn't feel like it was like ours anymore. I felt like we were like giving it to the world.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow I'm able to watch it now and feel like fine about it. But like whenever it was just with us, I was like, I can't think about it too much. Like I couldn't like judge myself too hard. It was hard to like look from a creative perspective.
I love it. Yeah, I mean, it's impossible. We are our worst critics, right?
Yeah.
It's hard not to like. So, but that kind of goes into my next question, where Trent, are you like, when you watch it, do you go just straight into director and you're like, okay, I have some notes. Like, is that like, okay, I noticed that, or maybe like, oh, I would love to like go back and do that. Like, is that like something that's, I don't know, a sort of thing that comes up for you? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I like had this conversation with my cast yesterday. I was like, I'm not the guy who's going to sit in front of you and like give you notes and be like, okay, that's good. Like, and it is good. Like, it's absolutely excellent. Like, the work is really fantastic. But I just think there's like always something to find. There's always a tweak. There's always, and like, it literally doesn't mean that anything is bad. And I remember my cast on tour would always be like, oh, we're having another Thursday note session, and I'd be like, yeah, babes, giddy up. Not because what you're doing is bad, but because like let's keep keep a vibe. Like let's keep let's keep the vibe up. Let's find like an energy shift. Let's find like little details about it. That I 100% jump to like, ooh, let's talk about that moment. And it's like, Trent, just let them do the double coupe turn without you having to say anything.
Well, the people are saying no. So we love that, right? You guys.
But that's the thing. Like, I was watching it and I was just like, okay, I can just let Trent. I was like, I trust Trent to decide what's going to be best. And if I really have a strong opinion about something, I'll say something. But I'm not going to act as like a choice maker.
Right. Yeah, I bet that's like scary, right? It's got to be a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I like to leave it to like I do what I do there, and then like I like to leave it up to someone else how to edit it and stuff.
100%. Well, I'm obsessed with the video. We've played it a million times. Everyone go stream that special. Go watch it on YouTube. We're loving the chat. Very active on this live. So if anyone has any questions for Joe and Trent before they leave, put it in the chat. We'll put it up here. Tessie, do you have any questions for them before they head out?
I do. I have one for both of you. What's your favorite lyric of the song?
Ooh,
that's so
line.
Pick your favorite sibling. No, I'm just kidding.
I always I like the "How can I wish on stars that don't make you feel small." I feel like it is kind of like the essence of what I feel like the song is asking.
Yeah.
What if I am that special, obviously. But as artists and as people who like have big dreams, I think it can feel like, oh my gosh, like it can make you feel small.
Yeah.
And I just like how that line also like came to be. It was like such a moment when we were writing it, like, oh, that's it. So I like have a good memory of writing.
Beautiful.
Favorite lyric.
I know, but
That's tough. I don't know that this is my favorite, but one that stands out for me is first place, first prize, first time I let him talk. And I think for me, that like really like Joe and I met when we were like, I don't know, 11 or 12 or something. And it just like makes me think of like growing up and like figuring ourselves out. And like Joe was someone that was there for me always, of just like coming into ourselves. And I think that like we just like had such a solid like friendship and bond from such a young age. And just like I remember the first being first place, first prize. They were all talking about us, and we just kind of did our thing, and we like turned to people like each other and to our friends from CLO. Truly, that was like our safe spot.
Right.
You know, when it's like it just reminded me of like back in the day and like being little 12-year-olds and like growing up and figuring ourselves out.
Yeah.
Wait,
Happy
Tessie,
Pride,
I kind of want to
everyone.
know yours. Do you have a favorite lyric? We're putting. I know. I'm.
Yeah, I'm like, what is yours?
I
Yeah,
usually just ask them and people just answer.
I'm sorry.
No, this is great. It's I was thinking of Joey's too, but also I really like the now I'm blanking on the lyric where it's fallen in love with the new me. I think you would too if you knew me. I think that's because it's hard to put yourself out there sometimes because you're scared of like people judging you, but then you accept yourself and it's like, well, if I love this about myself, you would too, sort of thing. And I just think, Joey, the lyrics are so
It's
good
so
in the song. It's so good.
Especially
And,
like I feel like that hits so hard because like especially like knowing you guys as like 12-year-olds to like, you know, as the time goes by, like now I don't know you the same like the new you guys. Like obviously we change and sort of thing like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So like the more I like grow up, I'm like, oh my God, like I don't know these people. Like I thought I do, but like, you know, like it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
So it's so deep. But
We'll
we
do a
put
mini
Joe on
stars
the
for lunch.
spot with his yeah, you guys do need a mini star reunion.
Oh my
Can you
we
imagine?
That'd be
Joe's
really
lyrics
fun, actually. Wait.
54 sings mini stars.
Oh my god.
Stop it.
The mini star's back for one night and one night only.
I'm gonna have to pass on that one.
I cannot.
I respect
Go off.
you.
I respect that. No, it's great. We put Joe's lyrics on the spot. I kind of want to ask, what's your favorite dance move? Because
Wait,
my
whoa.
favorite.
What's yours? What's your favorite lyric?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I was gonna say the I think you would too if you knew me one, but I'll even go a line further because I know my feet won't touch the ground until I'm falling in love with the new me. I've talked a lot about it on here. I swear this is like my therapy. Where like I've done a lot of self like soul searching this year. And like being like more okay because like I don't know. You change and it's just like I don't know who I am. Like I never knew who I was as a kid. We were always like as performers playing different people. Like we were never ourselves, you know, like never had time to be like, who am I? Like what? So I always like that. And then of course, like the feet don't touch the ground. Like, okay, I love that. I can get down with that. So it's a double meaning. But the Trent, your dance moves when everyone's in the line and like they're like sending all the energy to Joe. Like that with the dance moves, with the cinematography, like all of it, it's just like it was breathtaking. And that's like the thing about the music video. It's like it's so like beautiful and like simple and flowy, and it just like all blends so beautifully.
Thank
You
you.
guys
I
crushed it.
appreciate that.
The
Thanks.
movement with the dancers when they're all lined up and Joe's just oh my god, I had like chills. It's just so beautiful. You guys did such an incredible job. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's actually, I think, my favorite moment too, maybe. It's like when all they like fade down in different
Yes,
groups.
and they look, and it's just
Yeah.
like,
It's
And then like
stunning.
yeah, the visual of that was supposed to be like it's a very like meta, but like him walking through like the forest and like the trees like around him or like are getting like lost in the like pillars of
It was
life. I don't
that
know.
the coming down from the high
Yeah,
moment?
coming down from the high and like
Mm.
everyone like all the little things crash around him. Um
oh.
and I just that was a fun visual and that was a fun like rehearsal moment too with very specific counts.
You-
Yeah. Also,
wait, guys. We have the queen herself in the chat.
Oh my
Stop
god.
it.
whoa, my mother.
Hey
This is
Vicky.
everything.
Not mom and dad.
Not mom and dad.
Oh my word.
That's funny.
Wait, we
Wait,
love this.
we love you, Vic. Wait, that's hilarious that you can like pin the little comments. I'm obsessed with this feature
I
that's
know,
happening
right?
right now.
Isn't it cute? I liked it.
Obsessed.
It's my new little toy. I swear. This
Obsessed.
little
Also,
string
that
thing.
photo of my mom. I'm like, where did she
Go
She's
off.
serving.
Yeah.
You look great, Vicky.
Go
Are you
off.
kidding me?
Aw.
Wait, what an icon. Oh, I love that. I had to post that one. We have some more exciting comments here. I think everyone's kind of wondering. We have 2 singles. Are we getting any more songs? Are we getting an album potentially? Is there anything that you could say?
I have nothing concrete planned, but I
Okay.
have some ideas that have been swirling around that may see the light of day
Love?
soon.
There's a new High School Musical, the musical series coming. Oh my god.
No, that's done.
Kidding.
Bye, Felicia. Did Mr. Director Choreographer, or perhaps Joe too, how did we decide these outfit colors?
Yeah, this game was
You know
pretty.
what? That was like such a topic because it ended up it like the coloring of the video is so beautiful and Jake, who was our videographer and cinematographer, Prime Creative I think is his handle. Jake Primerman is his name. He's amazing. He did such an excellent job.
Yeah.
And I guess we just kind of went with like sort of the album art, right, Joe? Of like
Yeah.
that was the inspo behind the color palette.
Mhm.
And just like with I think the contrast to the very like white walls and white piano, it just like made them pop a little more. Yeah.
But somehow it really like balanced so nicely. Like
Yeah.
everyone could have showed up in the same color. We just gave them a basic like one of these colors, and everyone came in their own, and it worked. Like it
Yeah.
just somehow balanced. It was very serendipitous.
I love it. Movie magic.
Movie
Or I guess
magic.
music video magic.
Yeah.
I love it. We also had a comment in here saying Carlos would be very proud of the choreo. So shout out Trent. And also shout out to
Frankie.
the real Frankie Rodriguez. Come on, Crafty. That's
Yes.
important. That's important.
Duncan, they had Duncan for us. It was
Yeah.
excellent.
You have to keep the people happy.
Yeah.
And
You
Frankie
do.
was. Crafty was. We
Yeah,
were.
yeah.
Well, everyone's just saying how much they love this music video. So you guys just absolutely crushed it. Shout out. It's awesome to see you guys still collaborating and doing so many special things. Trent all around the world. Obviously, Joe, you can be seen worldwide too. Disney Plus, not a big deal. But it's so awesome to see what y'all are doing. So thank you for coming on. I don't know if anyone has any last words. Tess, you have anything else you want to say?
Yeah, can this go for like another 2 hours? You guys
I
I
know.
know.
I literally love this so much. And I already said you have an open invitation to the Tokash household whenever y'all are ready.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
so
We would
sweet.
love.
Got the backyard game.
Thanks for
Trent, we
having
need you back
us.
in the city.
I
Always.
know, seriously. Thanks for having us. Thanks for giving
Yeah,
this
thank
space
you.
to like talk about the video.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So
Always.
sweet.
You.
I was gonna talk about it anyways, but I was like, I may as well ask like them
Yeah.
themselves to like come chat about it with me. Tessie and I are obsessed. It's literally been on repeat in our house nonstop. Literally
I'm
since
not
like just the
kidding.
song was out. Yeah. It's so good.
It's been on loop all day during work. Like
It's like,
the
it's
YouTube
not a
has loop
joke.
thing. Like no. During work, it's literally the background music. Today, all day was background music. When I was getting ready, yeah. It was great.
Just saying, the people are ready for more. So
Yeah.
perhaps we have to get Trent back in the city before anything else happens, obviously.
Yeah.
But we'll
I'm back
make it
in
work.
August, so maybe we'll cook up something in the fall. I don't know.
Hey, busy boys over here. That's all that's going on. So shout out to both of you. Y'all are so lovely, and I can't thank you enough for taking the time. I was like, a quick 15 minutes. Hello,
I
40
know.
minutes.
40
Yeah.
minutes later, but I like didn't even realize.
I know. Yeah, no,
Yay.
I love you guys. We'll hang out soon.
Mwah.
Y'all are the best. Congrats to both of you
Big
on
hug.
creating something so special.
How did you do that?
I really had to practice this.
Sending love.
Yeah, because I really
Is that what Taylor does?
This one's so much easier.
Yeah, is this the new version?
This is like the Gen Z.
Oh, yes.
Which one does Taylor
This
do?
is
Taylor
cute.
Swift.
This is hard.
I don't know.
I feel like she made the hand hearts like popular again.
Yeah,
I
this
don't know.
is
Maybe I'm lying. Maybe I'm lying. What mother? She could do whatever. Yeah, exactly.
Whatever.
Well,
Thanks
thank
for
you
having
both
us.
again.
Yeah.
Much love to
all
both of you. Break legs on your opening, Trent, of Newsies.
Yes,
Anyone who's in the
thanks.
Michigan area, go see it.
Yeah, Midland Center for the Arts, June 25th, 26th, we open.
See
Yes.
it. See it.
Love you both so much. Thank
Bye,
you.
guys.
Wow. Love y'all.
The oh my god, literally favorite people of all time.
Yeah,
I love both of them so much. This was a treat. Thank you all so much for being so active in the chat and kind of hanging out with us. We do have our 207th episode with Eden Espinosa now playing just right after this. I do want to come on here and quickly say that we had a little connection issue on my end when we were recording the day that this happened. There were some thunderstorms in New York City. The Wi-Fi cut out mid-round. So there's a question that I asked twice. I was going to edit it, but both of her answers are very different. And both of them are very, both have aspects that are very helpful and like beautiful, and they are different. So I left the questions in there twice and both of her answers, even though the one gets cut off because of my connection. But it's beautiful and you will enjoy both of those answers. So I think that's why that's why I left them in there. So without further ado, should we just pop up Eden really quick?
Yeah.
And then after Eden, we're gonna wrap up the show. So thank you all so much for coming on and joining us live. T, is that it? Is that all you have anything to say?
Yeah.
Add?
Thank you for
That's it?
letting me bombard this
Oh my God.
interview. Appreciate it.
I loved having you here. You good to play it on your end, right?
Yes.
I can stall if need
Is it
be.
in the
Hello,
drive?
everyone. Yeah, it's in the drive. Here, I'll start it out. Oh no, maybe that's gonna be weird. Tessie's gonna play it on our end. But I just want to say quickly, as I mentioned, you can go listen to that special and take it slow. Anywhere you find music, Apple Music, Spotify. Obviously, you can now watch that special on YouTube. You could see the music video that we showed a sneak peek of. Definitely worth it. Eden Espinosa is our guest for this episode. For those of you who don't know, Eden Espinosa starred in Wicked on Broadway, and that's when she became a Broadway fan favorite. And then after that, she then went into a bit of a break from Broadway, and she literally took 10 years off. But this entire time, for 11 years, actually, she was working on Lempicka and embracing the role of Tamara Lempicka. So it's no joke, and she is fantastic in the show. She's also Tony nominated, which, by the way, not a big deal, which is why we are here doing this live stream, because of the Tony nominees. The Tonys are this Sunday. Can't wait to watch it. I'm getting word that the video is just trying to play. So storage is I see. Okay, so I'm going to hop out of here in 2 minutes, and we're gonna play Eden Espinosa, who, by the way, gives really great here test. I'll pull you out real quick. Thanks for
Yeah.
being here.
Thanks,
I think you
everybody.
should still be able to present. So Eden, by the way, is Tamara Lempicka and Tony nominated. She is giving everything in this episode. From she literally went to paint classes to learn how to hold a paintbrush like Tamara Lempicka. Like, what she did for this role, you understand why these people are Tony nominated. And that's what we're also going to get tomorrow in tomorrow's episode with Leslie Kritzer. We're going to feature short clips of that, because obviously that was released on Friday on our podcast feed. She's nominated for a Tony for Spamalot. And what she did for Spamalot was absolutely bonkers, and the exact same, not the exact same thing, but this very extensive research and preparation that went into it that you all are going to learn from Eden, as well as talking to Eden about what it's like to now be at a point in your career that you have scene partners that literally idolize you. So that has to be a weird thing. And she kind of mentioned that, she stayed humble in it, and she'll give you her spiel, I guess, about it very soon. Yeah, it was just it was really cool to hear all about it. Sorry, y'all. I was delayed on uploading this into our program here, but we're getting it in, and we'll put it up very soon. So, Tessie's back. Hey, T.
Hi.
I forgot to ask them what their favorite show of the season was.
Yeah, there was a couple. Yeah, we talked that we were
Sugar.
gonna talk Tonys after.
I
but,
know.
We also only had 15 minutes with them, and
Yeah,
that's pretty hard
went
to
way
do,
over.
yeah, but it was so great to see them again. Oh my gosh, I have been living vicariously through Trent for the past how many years? Oh my god. But it was just so great to talk to them. I haven't talked to Trent in a long time, so that was awesome, and they did such a great job.
Well, it was funny because, like you mentioned, I don't know if I've seen Trent. Well, they both came to see Finding Neverland. I don't know if they saw it. They were at the stage door one day. I think they went and saw Hamilton, and we were like right next door. So they came over and said hi. But I think that was like the last time I saw Trent, like 8 years ago.
Yeah. Like, I
then
guess I've interacted with like their stories, and like we've interacted through like social media, but like in person talking, it's been a minute. So yeah.
And then Joe, obviously, we went to see Patrick Page, not even like on purpose. All the Devils Are Here, which he is now touring. But as we mentioned earlier, we did Oliver together, the three of us, me, you, and Joe. And Patrick Page was our fantastic Fagin. So funny how that all, worked out, and we were able to see Patrick Page all together. If you look it up in the drive, it should be in there. I don't know if it snuck into like a folder or not. But
this is what happens behind the scenes, y'all, if you're wondering.
This is what's happening. It says Eden episode 207 MP4 is what it's called. And it should be in there. But yeah, so we got to see Joe pretty recently. And now here we are on Take a Bow, which also, funny story, it seemed like a full circle moment in the sense that Joe was Take a Bow's fourth episode, fourth episode, I think second guest ever, maybe.
I was gonna say top 5, because that was when you were just starting. It was Josh Lehman.
Yeah.
And I think it was Joe, actually.
And then, yeah, I think he was second guest.
Yeah.
And it was just when like High School Musical was like
To your
popping
point, so many things
off
has changed, and it feels
I
like that
know.
was just yesterday.
4 years ago. That was.
Don't say that.
So
The fact that you're
4
21
years
now,
ago.
the fact that you're 21 now still,
I
like,
know.
that's not correct.
4 years ago, Joe Serafini was on Take A Bow, and now here we are today.
Oh,
Y'all witnessed something special. No pun intended.
you're so
I didn't mean to do that. It was just it happened organically, okay?
Oh, man.
But I had to acknowledge it once it happened. No, so it was very cool, and then of course to have you on it is always special because I wouldn't
Yeah.
know either of them if it wasn't for you.
Yeah, that
Crazy.
Chitty's a
Chitty
special.
bang bang.
Yeah, talk
Just
about something
wild.
special. That was a time. Did you fill out your Tony bracket yet?
Yes, I did. So I did that last night on our live stream. I did musicals only. So
Okay.
that
I meant the
by
full
the
thing.
way,
Did you fill it out? The whole thing yet?
yeah, I did. And I'm gonna do placed probably tomorrow. So I want to do a little announcement for tomorrow. So tomorrow's episode features we're going to go live. We're going to be featuring Jeremy Jordan on tomorrow's episode. Very excited about that. We will also be talking about the plays from this season. And then of course we're also going to try to get on a live guest and hopefully one from Water for Elephants. And Tessie, you may be able to think about who that may be just by me saying Water for Elephants.
Yeah, no, I got that one.
But he has something very exciting to promote that's upcoming. So if it's the thing about this week is it's crazy week for people that are in performances. So this is why Eden and Leslie were pre-recorded episodes that we weren't able to get them on here live, obviously, as they campaign for their highest achievement in the theater industry, the Tony Awards, which is happening on Sunday. So very exciting stuff nonetheless, but we have a great episode for you folks tomorrow. And I also want to bring up something fun that Take A Bow is doing. It's something very exciting that is a Tony Awards giveaway. We're doing a giveaway if you fill out your bracket with us. So there's a link in our Instagram bio. And this is our Instagram where you can find us. In our bio, you will see a link and it will take you to a Google form. In that Google form, you see all the categories and everything. We have about 20 entries already. And so we would love to keep that number going. And if you if you predict the most amount of winners for the Tony Awards on Sunday, you will get a gift box. Y'all, when I say a gift box, I'm going to be stuffing everything in there. We have a basement full of Broadway memorabilia that needs to go. Okay, so I'm praying
there's some hidden treasures in there.
Yeah, well, hidden treasures. There's signed merchandise. There's all kind of things that you will be getting in this box. I'm praying for like a 7-way tie because that'll help us get even more out. So if it doesn't matter if you tie, if you win, if you whatever, you will maybe be getting some sort of memorabilia, and that'll obviously come in the form of like DMing and figuring out how to get it to you, and what that may be. So yeah, very exciting stuff. Hope that you'll check it out and participate with us. As I mentioned, we already have some great people already signed up. It's still you're still not finding it?
No,
Sorry,
still not
folks.
finding it, but also I have
This
to
is
give you
crazy.
props for this week, Eli, because having a live guest on every day it's been really fun to watch, and you're killing it. So
Hey,
proud
thanks.
of you.
So it's saying it's in here. It's in here twice. I think I'm just gonna share it from my computer and have to, call it a day at that.
Okay.
All
I
right.
mean, yeah.
So I'm gonna upload it to this program, and we're gonna get on with the show, as they would say in Trevor. Um, I'm full of it tonight. I'm full of it.
Doing
Um,
Pun King.
what's that?
You're the Pun King. Yeah,
I
it's not
know,
in.
like that's so not like me. What is this?
Oh, is it really
Okay.
not working on your end?
Okay, I'm gonna do this. Wait. Yep. Okay. Don't.
This is gonna be great to watch back.
Wow, folks, this is our first time trying this out, so this is gonna be something cool.
What if I am that special? What if I am? What if I
So
feel
good.
Very good song.
So share screen, window, QuickTime Player, share. Can we see this? You can't see that, right? Do you
Nope.
see the video? Oh, awesome. Great. Because why? Y'all, I am not.
The show must
tech
go
guy.
on. This
I'm
is
not the tech
live
guy.
theater.
This is so sad. Yeah, this is live theater, folks. We are rolling with these punches here. Let's do this and see if this works. T, let me know if you see nothing. No. Okay, y'all. Not gonna lie, I may have to move this tomorrow. I may have to move it into tomorrow.
I can stall for a little longer and show them my playbills.
What? No,
My
no.
playbill
I mean,
folder.
they're not even from this season. We haven't even
Is
seen
it just
anything from
not?
this season.
Is it just not uploading or like?
Well, it's not like letting. It says video clips must be 200 millibytes, so it's too big of a file. And then the one I hit present screen, and it's saying, oh, you gotta give it the, what is it called? You have to go to settings and turn settings on, and like give it the okay. And when I give the okay, it says, okay, now we have to quit Google Chrome, and I don't want to quit Google Chrome because I feel like that's just gonna quit the broadcast.
Dear Lord. Finn wants some Eden.
I know. The people want the Tony nominees. That's what they want. I just don't understand.
Next guest is a Tony-nominated star who has graced the most popular stages on Broadway over the past 20 years.
Enjoy.
I can guarantee you she's played at least one of your dream roles throughout her career. As you may know, our fabulous guest this week as Alphaba, Maureen, Trina, or even most recently as Tamara de Lempicka. She is a Broadway fan favorite who has blessed every Broadway fan in returning to Broadway in this jam-packed season. So everyone, it is my honor to welcome to Take a Bow the incomparable Eden Espinosa. Hi, Eden.
Hi, how are you, Eli?
Oh, I'm so great now. This is so awesome. You literally, so much is happening right now. You obviously just closed a Broadway show, and then, of course, the Tony Awards are right around the corner, for which you just earned your first Tony nomination for. So I'm very excited to be talking to you all about every exciting thing that's going on in your life right now.
Well, let's get to it.
Let's do it. Should we? I guess let's just get into Lempicka because obviously just recently closed on Broadway, and this is a show that you've been a part of for almost 10 years now. Is that right? 9 years, I think I read somewhere.
Yeah, 9 years I've been part of it at playing Tamara, but the first reading I did was 11 years ago, in which I was Rafaela in that particular reading.
So wild. So like what does it mean like now? Like obviously when you say goodbye to a Broadway show, it's always really hard, but something like this that's been such a huge part of your life, especially in the last, 9-10 years, as you mentioned, what was it like to kind of say goodbye and close it on a Broadway stage? You made it to the highest level. You went through all of the full journey and the full ride. What did it mean to you to finally say goodbye?
I haven't fully said goodbye.
Yeah.
The grieving process is long. And it's interesting because, ever since we found out we were closing, it's been the extreme highs and the extreme lows of what this industry can bring, and I'm still feeling it. Every other iteration with Lempicka, we were out of town, and we knew it was closing, so it was like, it was a definitive time that we were doing it, but you got to go home, meaning like away from the theater, away from, and now this time I noticed was different. I was like, oh, I can't escape. I don't get to leave where we were. Every time I go to Midtown, I
Right.
see the theater, or I see our signs up, or see some of our posters are still up in the subway stations, and it's painful. I'm not gonna try and pretend that it's not. I'm still I'm still feeling the repercussions of emotional whiplash. It's beautiful
Mm.
to be recognized in the season and for my work in the show, but it's also painful that we don't get to perform at the Tonys, and a lot of our creative weren't recognized. So it's all amazing and it's all painful, and I'm allowing myself to feel all of the things, and something that you've invested that much time in. It's going to take a long time to get over how short lived our run was, but we were here, we made it. We have a beautiful fan base, and our cast album comes out next week, which is amazing. And I get to go to the Tonys and wear a beautiful dress and be recognized for my work as
Yeah.
Tamara, and that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of, putting in the work for with a show for so long. I mean, you look at your career as a whole. You've been on Broadway. You made your Broadway debut exactly 20 years ago this year,
Hmm.
and now you finally are being recognized and honored with the highest honor in our Broadway community in being nominated for a Tony. So, does it kind of like I don't know. Is it kind of even more rewarding after like looking through your whole career and not just this one show and making it like per se if you had a Tony nomination in your Broadway debut. Like does it kind of mean more that it now comes after this long incredible career that you've had?
Yeah, I would say it does. I think, having been a part of some pretty iconic shows in my career, you don't have the
Yeah.
opportunity to originate things very often. And the last time I originated something was Brooklyn the musical, and that was in 2004. So that was 20 years ago. And I over the years have attached myself to projects that aren't necessarily um commercially viable for Broadway. And so that's why it was such an amazing thing that Lempicka got to have a moment. And at this age, at this time in my life, yeah, the nomination means everything, because I've been working tirelessly on pieces, originating them in regional theaters outside of New York. So to see one actually make it all the way to Broadway, which for a lot of times is the destination, is the goal, is amazing. So yeah, it
Yeah.
means a lot.
Oh my God. I'm so excited. This is long overdue. So I'm so happy that the time has come and that we're finally getting to witness this. So it's very well deserved. Yeah, big fans.
Thank
Everyone
you.
listening and of course myself. Yeah, of course. Well, you talk about originating the role, right? And you've talked about originating multiple roles and attaching yourself to those types of pieces. I'm curious to ask you, as a performer, does it kind of help in a way because Lempicka is a real person that you kind of have some sort of basis going into originating a role instead of just originating it from scratch? Or do you kind of enjoy the just finding your own self in it through like just, I don't know, like
Yeah,
nothing?
yeah, that's a great question. That's a great question. I feel like with Tamara, because um for most people, she is unknown. You know, there are so many people
Mm,
that would come to Lempicka or would hear about it and think it was you know, a made up story about somebody because they haven't heard her name or they don't know who the artist is or they haven't seen her work. So in that sense, I think it's almost like originating something that somebody that wasn't here, and because she didn't live in a time
totally.
where, you know, we have seen a little bit of footage of her but we haven't heard her talk, or we haven't, you know, she wasn't in movies, you know. It's, I think it's a little bit different when you're um originating somebody that we all are very super familiar with, because you have to live up to certain, you know, isms, if the way they speak, the way they move. And so I had a little bit more freedom with Tamara in that sense. But because we know historical facts about her life and how she moved through spaces, how she survived, how she made a name for herself, there was a certain essence that was there of survival, of tenacity, of ambition
Mm.
that I wanted to capture. And so I think it's both in this case, in this particular case, depicting this person. I think it's both of the things that you said.
Oh, that is fascinating. So it's really about finding kind of that balance between, of course, Tamara and Eden, which I'm
Yes.
sure that's the case for multiple roles. Yeah, of course. But
Yeah.
that's fascinating. So I'm curious, you know, does it kind of help? So in the sense of like, you know, the historical facts maybe going on in that time period. Does it kind of, I don't know, do you, obviously she's a famous painter, like are you taking paint classes? How are your painting skills? Like what is that whole thing kind of like?
Yeah, yeah, you know, it's again, she lived in a time and in countries that, you know, are unfamiliar. You know, I haven't
Right.
had to escape persecution. I haven't had to, you know, completely reinvent myself and provide for my family. You know, there are things that I can put myself, my imagination into her shoes and see what that's like. In our particular show, we didn't have to depict that much painting. Um, you know, Rachel's vision was not to be super focused on that because her life is so rich and there was so much to
Right.
cover, so much ground to cover. So I did have some one-on-one sessions with a painter, um, on how, what types of brushes that she would
Wow.
use, how to hold it for certain strokes, and what would be the, you know, what would be the thing for more details, how would the brush work for a, you know, covering more ground on the canvas. But I have not taken a painting class. I have painted for fun, just, you know, just for creative play, but my painting skills, I have to say, are not good.
Yeah, I love it. It's okay. I'm still doing the stick figures myself, so no hard feelings. That's hilarious. Oh my god, I love that. Like you know, people don't even you know think about that. Like the whole brush, the way she holds it, what type of brush she uses. That stuff is so fascinating to me. So I love hearing that. Thank you for sharing that.
Of
Wow, that
course.
is so cool. Um, well, yeah. So obviously Tamara is such a layered person, as you kind of mentioned, and as the painting wasn't the focal point, and Rachel kind of wanted to, you know, focus on her story. On top of all of this, you know, it's June, it's Pride Month, so I got to talk about, you know, the fact that you're telling a queer story on stage. And I'm curious for you, you know, obviously in a commercial space, you know, these queer stories, um, you know, we're in an industry that I like to think, I don't want to talk for everyone, that we are welcoming and we are inclusive to all, but sometimes we need to work on it. So I'm
Sure.
curious, what does it mean to you to represent the queer community and tell a queer story on a Broadway stage?
Yeah. You know, I feel I have always Well, I played Maureen in Rent, so I've portrayed a queer woman before, and I have always felt, there have been times that I have gone to the theater and seen relationships, whether they be queer or not, depicted on stage, and sometimes I'm like, I don't 100% believe you, or do you guys
Mm.
even like each other? I'm sure everybody has felt that way at some point. And
Ooh.
for me to play a queer woman, I never ever wanted a queer person to see me and think I don't believe you. And so that was important for me, even back when I was playing Maureen. It's always been important
Wow.
that it feels just as real, just as passionate, just as genuine, just as messy, just as complicated as any other relationship you would see on stage. And so, in this particular instance, I feel like we haven't necessarily seen a bisexual woman de- de- depicted on stage. And on the queer side of things, for her, we haven't seen that deep of a relationship for women on stage that I can think of. I mean, and because Maureen and Joanne, it's not
Mm-mm.
nearly this passionate, and this real in the sense
Right.
of the complexities and the nuance and the messiness. And that's something that I loved about our show. It's something that both Amber and I held in very high regard, as far as the honor of depicting these women and the responsibility that comes with it. And that was one of the most rewarding things about our run, is speaking to people who felt seen for the first time, who felt like I feel, or it felt like it unlocked something in me to see myself, to see this queer relationship on stage, to see two women passionately kissing, and having the lead into of a lovemaking scene, to have fights, to have heartbreak.
Mm.
So it's a beautiful thing and an honor. And I it's I would hold it very carefully and very preciously.
Well, you can tell there was a lot of um, work that went into that and creating that because, as you mentioned, the chemistry and and that's with any relationship that you can see on a stage, not just like a queer relationship. There's often times where you go to the theater and it's like, oh, the chemistry's not there, whatever. Like your
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Amber's chemistry is phenomenal. Like, yeah, like you guys can communicate through the eyes, like y'all know what's going on with each other, and it is so impressive. So I'm curious, like, I mean, what is the rehearsal process in building that kind of chemistry? Is it happening in a rehearsal room? Is it happening outside? Is it happening with Rachel? Is it just you two on your own? Like, what goes into building that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, Amber and I happen to get along very well. So that helps. I don't think you are always
Yeah.
afforded that luxury. Sometimes you just don't gel with somebody, but it's your responsibility to still make believe that you do, to still live truthfully under imaginary circumstances. I didn't have to fake that with Amber, gratefully, because we do have a bit of a shorthand with each other as people. I feel like we could communicate with very little words off stage. So I'm actually like really pleased
Yeah.
that you said that, and that was evident on stage. But as far as the mechanics of our relationship, the emotional life is developed with Rachel in the room very much, and our our creators and our book writers. We do a lot of scene work, table work, then put it on its feet, and then with blocking and all of that. But we worked very closely with an intimacy coordinator starting in La Jolla 2 years ago, and James, and so the intricacies of intimate moments, and I'm not even speaking solely about the physical intimate moments, but the intimacy emotionally as well, we work on with an intimacy coordinator, and it's super helpful. And it's just an abundant resource of tools to be able to access emotions and feelings and safely bring them to the stage.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. That's so. It's awesome. I mean, it seems like, with it seems like this whole intimacy coordinator seems to be like a trend on shows nowadays. Like, has that always been
Yeah.
a thing? Oh, it has
No,
been. Okay.
I have to
Wow.
say, yeah, I have to say it's
Oh,
new. It might have been around before. I have never worked with one until after the pandemic. And I think I'm so
got it.
grateful that we are starting to utilize this because, you know, we have to do a lot of, and again, I'm not just talking about physically intimate things. You know, you meet somebody on a show, you know them maybe a week, and then you have to start making out with them. And it's very, or staging an intimate sex scene, or, even fighting, even emotionally charged moments. If there's anything about sexual assault or anything, the intimacy covers so much more than the physical intimacy, and it's very helpful
Right.
to be able to learn how to create safe spaces for each other, how to learn how to access those emotional moments, and then to be able to put it away and not have to carry it with you all the time. So you learn all sorts of tools um, with the intimacy coordinator, even safety with fighting moments, slapping or shoving. It covers everything, and it's a very, very good resource to have on shows. And I'm very grateful for ours and James. She's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. And it seems like, as performers, when I mention like the whole chemistry and just being able to communicate like with minimal words or anything like that, like it seems like performers kind of get that so quickly because of what they're just forced to be uncomfortable with each other, and they bond in that way, sort of thing. Do you feel like that's kind of
Yeah.
like it's easy to just bond with people in this industry, or like a scene partner or whatever?
Sure, not for everybody though. Yeah, it's not,
Mm,
not all actors are naturally extroverted or do well in social situations. Like quite honestly, a lot of colleagues and friends don't do well in social situations, or are a little more shy or reserved. So, everybody's different, and I feel like we are taking into account everybody's lived experience a little bit more now, which is great, because a lot of times people carry with them trauma or scars that nobody knows about, and then they're triggered
mm.
in a room and they don't know how to handle it, and we don't know how to handle it. So I think we're all learning how to accommodate each other as humans a lot more, which is then in turn going to inform the art in a beautiful way and deepen it in a beautiful way.
Wow. Yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm curious. This I want to move away from this conversation because I feel like we've covered it. Um, I'm
Okay.
curious to ask you. So I was in Finding Neverland with Mary Page Nance, who was a swing on
Amazing.
Lempicka, and yeah,
Yes, I love
MP. I love
MP.
her. Um, yeah, so what I actually had her on the podcast, and like 2 weeks later, she found out she was going to be in Lempicka, and she told me about it, and she was freaking out because you were in it. So like, I'm curious to ask you, like obviously as you have created such a incredible career for yourself, and now you're kind of idolized by so many performers, what does it feel like for you to kind of take on more of like a leadership role in this part of your career, and kind of have like coworkers that are looking up to you and idolizing you, but also like, oh, we have to like work and we have to like do a scene and tell a story.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that question. I feel like I have always known that I can't do this by myself. And that we are a team and
Mm.
we need each other and everybody is just as important and vital and seen as Lempicka and Lempicka. And so I like to, I don't know, I sometimes don't know if people understand for me that every single person on that stage helps me do my show, especially on something that is such a heavy lift like Lampika. If everybody is connecting with each other at every moment and telling the same story and on the same page, it just makes everybody's job easier. And that's important for me to connect with people, to have moments with people, to have, oh, this is when we do that thing. Because we're all telling a story. I know that as a leading actor, at times it's my responsibility to use my voice to speak out and advocate for my cast if they feel like they can't. Um, and to advocate for us because we are the ones doing the show 8 times a week. Like nobody fully understands what that's like unless you've been in it, and because you've been in it. But I feel like nobody fully knows what it is to do something 8 times a week, to do something.
So, do you feel like as you continue to grow in your career, that you take on more of like a leadership role in your cast, and what is that kind of like in navigating? You know, obviously your scene partner is kind of idolizing
Oh my gosh. Well, that's very sweet. I feel like I very much establish a sense of community, a team. We are all very integral parts of the same story, and I like to connect very much with everybody on stage, even if I don't have anything directly to do with them. I'm very much an actor that like takes in everything around me. So I will create moments with other people if they are open to having those moments with me as well. And so I feel like um that um that is always fun for me, which makes me feel happy that people like that as well because they feel seen or they feel, like they're a part of it too because they are. But I think sometimes, people can feel like, oh, I'm over here on the side and nobody's paying attention to me. But the leadership part of it is because very much we are a team. And, I feel like the vibe of the cast starts from the top down and even, creatives and producers above us. And so I
you.
it's my responsibility to advocate for us as a cast, and to speak up when people feel like they can't. You know very well that like nobody fully knows what doing 8 shows a week is like unless you've done it. And it's very easy for people on the other side of the stage to go, yeah, well, do this 8 times a week. And you're like, no, eight
Yeah.
times a week doing that. I could do it maybe twice, but doing it 8 times a week, twice in a day, uh, that's going to cause long-term harm. And so you don't always feel like you have the power or the agency to speak up. And so it's very important for me in the creative process to notice moments like that and to speak up, for us as a cast. And so it makes me happy that people feel taken care of, when they're in a cast with me. That literally means everything to me. So thank you. And I'm happy we share love for MP.
Oh yeah, the best. Shout out MP.
Yeah.
I loved her little
Yeah.
bar and piggy. That was so cute.
MPika.
Yeah,
Yeah.
being that's so fun. Snobs were she's the queen. She's the queen of snobs.
Yes.
I love it. Well, I mean, we kind of
I kind of want to loop back to kind of the beginning of like your career, right? Um, and obviously Lempicka, you know, shout out to the Tonys. Best of luck there. But I wanted to take a moment and appreciate your work in obviously Wicked and Rent, as you mentioned. And I mentioned, I kind of alluded to it earlier that you're every young performer's like dream role. Like they idolize you. I always see like TikToks of your Alphaba Defying Gravity riff or your performance as Marine, of course, in Rent. Like, do you kind of you know do you kind of at the time, because obviously you played Alphaba pretty early on in the run, same with Marine, and obviously it was the final, like did you kind of know that those roles would have the impact in this industry that it has had and that it's continued to have even all these years later, um, as you were performing, or is that something that you kind of can reflect on now, and appreciate those roles even more?
Yeah. Well, I knew that Rent did because it had the effect on me. That original Broadway cast recording. My first trip to New York, I was a senior in high school, and Rent was the first Broadway show I ever saw. All I ever wanted to do was be Maureen. Idina Menzel was like everything to me. Yeah, so two years later, be her standby in Wicked was the dream come true. Like, I couldn't have been better. So I didn't know if Wicked was going to have, nobody did. Wicked opened to mixed reviews, and nobody knew that it would catch fire in the way that it did. And oddly enough, that around that time was right when like social media, YouTube, chat rooms, like the internet, that kind of stuff started really being popular. And so
Mm,
I think that that was part of the reason why, you know, uh, the few of us at the very beginning were such a thing. Like there's, YouTube people in Germany were watching me on YouTube and being fans of mine and like wanting to come to, it's crazy. So I think um I didn't know my contribution to Wicked would be as long as it was, and as like worldwide as it was. But I think that's because of the time. Like I said, social media was just starting to take off and stuff. So,
right.
um, yeah, I'm grateful. I'm so grateful.
Yeah, well, obviously, your performance has definitely had a long-lasting impact, especially like Wicked to this day. I still see like Eden Espinosa is my favorite alphabet and all that and stuff. Like we talked about originating a role and obviously with Lampika, but I'm curious to ask you, like obviously with Maureen and then of course Alphaba, like that was like Adina's role that she created. So like, what was that like to experience, replacing I guess a person and kind of taking
Sure.
over the reins. Yeah, well, and of course
Yeah.
someone else,
Well,
stature who you were such a fan
yes, of course. I learned so much being a standby in that original company, and from watching the show as much as I did, and when I got to go on, because I was a standby for Alpha Bubba, I was an understudy for Nessa Rose, so I went on for Nessa Rose a lot as well, and to play opposite those people. So like when I was Nessa, I got to work with Adina, and then when I was Alphaba, it was Joel Grey, Carol Shelley, Norbert Leo, like Chris Chenoweth. It was just like insane. So um, you know, I think once I took over the role full time is when our directors really instilled in me, like, you have a little bit more freedom to make it your own. You don't
of.
have to when you're a standby and an understudy, you don't have to carbon copy um their performance by any means, but certain timings of things, you have to fit within a structure. The show has to keep going as if they were there, right? So I feel like when you take over a role and you fully replace, you have more freedom to really make the role your own and make your own choices. And so that was really cool, um, to have that opportunity and then to play the role for so long after. was just, it's a blessing. People always ask me, do you get sick of people saying they're your favorite alphabet or I saw you? And I'm like, no, like, I was 7 years old when I saw you at the Pantages. Or I was like, I love it because I'm
Oh,
thrilled that something I was a part of is still touching people's lives, and my contribution to that family and that role that is still still speaking to people today and resonating with people. So it makes me very happy.
oh my God, I love that, and I love hearing that like your dream role was Marine, and Brent, and you got to do that on
Yes.
Broadway. That's so freaking cool. Um, I have
Yes.
one last question for you, and then I want to let you go. Um,
Okay.
Obviously, as we mentioned, it was 15 years between your return to Broadway, I guess, in Lempicka, and
Mm.
obviously, you still were performing. You did the Falsettos tour, you did Garden of Annunciat, Lincoln Center, and of course many other things. Um,
Yes.
do you feel like there is a big difference kind of now within that gap, obviously with social media and whatever, just industry trends? And what does it mean to you to be able to take a bow on a Broadway stage?
Ah, yes, I think it's very different. I feel like the general scope of Broadway, in the sense of, I feel like it's more narrow.
Mm,
There's less room. I feel like there was a lot more variety of things when I first came to New York. Um, and I sometimes feel like, and this is, a depiction of our society and the things that we've been through. I feel like people really want something familiar. It's comforting to have something familiar. So when we have our movies that are turned musicals, our books, our jukebox musicals, which is, a catalog of music that we're familiar with. And it makes me it makes me a little bit sad that original pieces aren't doing as well as they were 15 years ago. And a lot of people have spoken about, Patti LuPone has spoken about this, and a lot. Oh, we lost him again. Maybe I'll just keep talking. A lot of people have talked about this, and that it's a little bit more touristy, it's a little bit more commercial on Broadway. So to answer your question, to have Lempicka, a piece like Lempicka, make it to all the way to Broadway, and to have us have some sort of recognition, um, Amber and I and our set designer, um, it means everything to be able to say, I took a bow on Broadway with a piece that wasn't supposed to ever get to Broadway based on what is popular today. So that is a badge of honor. It's something I'm extremely proud of. And I hope that we will start having more room for more original pieces.
ah, that's beautiful. I love that.
I kept talking. Oh,
What's that? Oh no! Wait, I think. Wait,
I lost
can
you
you hear me?
again, but I
Can you hear
kept
me?
talking
Oh,
this time.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I lost you again, but I kept talking.
No, I can't hear you right now.
Oh no.
Wait, let me go again. Say hi.
Are you there?
Oh, I can hear you. Okay. Sorry, what did you
Okay.
say? What was the last thing?
I lost your picture, so but I kept talking. So you'll have the audio
Yeah,
of
yeah,
what
yeah.
I just kept going. Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Of
Yeah,
course.
well,
Of course.
I'm sure it was a beautiful answer, and thank you so much, Eden, for coming on
Of
and chatting
course.
with us today and taking the time. Obviously, you have such a busy Sunday coming up here in 2 Sundays. I'm wishing
Yes.
you. I guess everyone's wishing you. Of course, we're all rooting for you. The best of luck and so much fun. I hope you have a blast and kind of stepping back into the land of Olympico one more time. I'm sure that'll be great. So obviously you have so much to
Yes.
take a bow for. So thank you so much for coming on here today.
Thank you, Eli.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, folks, there you have it. Crazy with the connection issues. Hey T, welcome
Hey,
back.
still here.
Yeah, craziness with the connection issues. It was storming out at our house. And I just couldn't get the connection to work. But we were so thrilled to have a star like Eden Espinosa on the podcast in a week that is leading up to the Tony Awards, which is just I know how hectic it can be. Thankfully, I mean, I guess not thankfully, but obviously she's not in a show right now. So she was willing and able to come on here and not blow her voice out or whatever it may have been. We were very lucky to have her on and welcome her. We'll do it again eventually with better connection, because would love to do more Wicked and Rent chat. But having her on talking about her Tony nominated performance was truly special. And I'm just so excited that we were able to make that work. And obviously we had some Lempicka fans in the comments. So that was very exciting to see as well. And I'm glad that Lempicka changed your life just like it did for so many. So shout out to Eden once again. Can't thank her enough for having her on. And hey, go root her on this Sunday at the Tony Awards. So exciting. She's nominated for Best Leading Actress in a Musical. Our guest last week on Friday was Leslie Kritzer, who's nominated for Best Featured Actress in a Musical. So we will be rooting for both of them in their respective categories. They are both my predictions for the night to win. Obviously, big fans with their kindness and coming on Take a Bow. Any final thoughts, T?
No, that was a really great episode.
It was
That was
cute.
great.
She was a
It was
sweetheart,
really
and
great.
she was so patient with me and with the connection issues, because there were obviously
Yeah.
lags in between questions and answers, and
But it was
patiently
great. It
waiting
was
for me
really
to
great.
switch rooms. Yeah, she's the sweetest human being. And I'm even a bigger fan now after chatting with her. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was awesome to hear
And
about her process. That's
yeah,
crazy what she went
and
through to.
Wicked, how many years later she still touched people? Like, that's
I
I
know.
remember watching people from when we were young, and still, like, they play in my head,
Yeah,
going to see
no
Broadway
doubt
shows when we
about
were
it.
really young. Yeah,
It's the
it's really
coolest
cool.
thing when, like, on Wicked they do, or I mean on TikTok they do those like Wicked like, what would you call them? Like montages where it's like all the different alphabets, like
Yeah.
No Good Deed or Defying Gravity.
Yeah, highlighting them all.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
she's always on there. It's like her and Jessica Vosk are like the constants, It seems like
Yeah.
everyone's consensus like alphabet, they just love them. And it's so cool to see.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
surreal to have her on. And it was cool to hear her talk about her fangirling over Adina, and then understudying
Yeah.
her, like, just what a incredible career that she's had.
Yeah. Very talented, very sweet,
Oh,
very, very great
sweetest.
episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so again, can't thank Eden enough. And hey, here we are, almost 10 o'clock here on a Thursday night. Everyone get some rest, and we'll be back tomorrow with Jeremy Jordan and some more special guests. Jeremy Jordan, also, I'm just like going through my notes of like what I wanted to say and sign off. Also, reminder, Tony giveaway. Go check us out
Yeah.
at Take a Bow on Broadway or on B-Way. That is our Instagram handle, where you can find the link in our bio, where you can enter to win a literal gift box of Tony
So many
merchandise.
things. So
Tony,
many
it's going to
things.
be Tony merchandise from last season. We have like exclusive theater camp merch. We have signed year of Enhancing stuff. We have all kinds of just
Broadway
double,
memorabilia. So
triple,
much.
memorabilia that we have, and we're looking to find some new home for.
Homes. Yeah.
All completely free to enter. Just go check out the link in our bio, and we'll send you out a gift box if you predict the most Tonys correct. Very
Subscribe,
exciting.
follow. You get to listen to
Chat.
this boy every week. It's
Oh
great.
God. And yeah, subscribe to YouTube, follow us on the podcast platform that you may be listening to this on, as always. And Tessie, thank you for coming on. Joe,
Thank you
Trent,
for having
and
me.
Eden, special shout out. Thank you also for joining us for episode 207. You made it super special.
Yeah, go watch that special. It's oh my god. Go
Yep.
watch, go listen. It's so good.
All right, y'all. Thank you all
Happy
so much, and we
Tonys.
will see you tomorrow. Happy Tonys. We will see you tomorrow on Friday, 8 p.m. See y'all.